when you're using multiple strands to do crochet, you can feed them directly out of the balls or the skeins. Remember to always pull from the inside thread of your skein, not going from the outside. Otherwise, you'll end up with terrible rosiness. I mean, this one was pulled from the inside right here. It's kind of doing its sad end of skein thing right now, and it will eventually turn into a terrible bird's nest, but it would have been much worse if I was unwinding it from the outside. So try to always pull from the inside. It keeps the balls of yarn from running around. Now, if you want to avoid that, you can take all of your yarns and roll them into a ball. Now this I did on my little home winder, and honestly it got way bigger than my yarn ball winder should have been able to handle. And so I've got this giant sloppy bee's nest looking like thing in yellow. If you are ball winding at home, you should probably stop at a cake of about this size. This is these same 3 yarns. So this is as big of a cake as I would do on a home ball winder. You can make multiple cakes, and then when you're finished using up one cake, you then just splice on to the next one. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to finish up this scarf with what I have here. Then I'm going to splice in this cake that I just made as a demo. But I'm noticing, and sometimes this happens, that this is going to be a very long, sort of almost Doctor Who style super long scarf, which means I can't show you the infinity scarf thing that I had intended to do originally. This one instead, how I'm going to finish it off is once I've used up all of this green, blue, and tan variegated and used up everything that was spliced in from the cake, I'm going to have leftovers of this sort of creamy color and this tan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those and I'm going to turn them into tassels that I'm going to attach onto this to finish off both ends of the scarf. I find that on a scarf like this, if you just leave it to be an end like this, it doesn't quite seem finished. So I like to put tassels on this style of scarf. Now this one, I'm probably not going to have a shorter scarf for an infinity scarf, but it is soft enough that it would make a good one of those. So I might actually divide this up into multiple projects. I'm going to finish this off to the point where I could make a cowl with it. And what you do with an infinity scarf is instead of just attaching it over so that you've got a donut, what you do is you give it one twist and then you attach it together. And that way you have this little fold that just very nicely goes around your neck, your chin sticks out, and is very nice and comfortable. So I'm probably going to demonstrate how you stitch the 2 ends of the crochet together for an infinity scarf, as well as showing you how to add tassels to an end of a scarf, whichever type of scarf you end up wanting to make with this. Usually when I'm doing one of my multiple yarn pieces, I will suggest doing a dark, medium, and light, but in this example, I'm going to use this pink that's got a tiny bit of teal in it, this periwinkle and blue that has a bit of the same orange in it and a little bit of the teal too, and this teal and gray variegated. I don't know how it's exactly going to turn out, but I'm going to use these 3 to start a new scarf. And as you've seen, I've got multiple unfinished objects, UFOs, going on. So this is just for example. I'm probably just going to show you the stitches with this, and then I'll tear it out and put them back into their respective things. But I think the contrast between the pink variegated, the teal, periwinkle and orange, and the teal and gray is going to show up pretty well on the camera. All right, so to start this off, we want to get all 3 of our yarns. We're crocheting with all of them together all at the same time. So we get them together, and we're going to do a simple slip knot. So we're going to make a little fish. We're going to reach into the body. We're going to grab the tail end, but we're going to tighten on the line end. And that's what's going to give us the slip knot. So if I hold the knot, I can slip the body. Now, if I pull all the way, it comes all the way out. Now, something that I see oftentimes is somebody will do the fish and they'll do it the other direction, and they will grab the line instead of the tail. And now when I pull the tail, it just tightens down the knot. I have to pull on the line to get that loose. So that's not as good as the other way, because I'm going to end up crocheting with that line, which means I can't tighten up that original stitch again if I need to. All right, so I've got my little slip knot here. I've tightened down with the running line. Just gonna put this loop on my hook. I'm not gonna really tighten it down. I'm going to leave it so that it slides along the shaft of my hook, and I'm gonna grab my 3 strands of yarn over the pinky behind the ring, over the middle finger behind the index finger. Okay, I'm gonna pinch with my thumb and my middle finger. I'm gonna grab, and this is the chain stitch. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the chain stitch, and see it makes a lovely sort of braid looking like thing. There's these little chevron shapes, and each one of these is a stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here I am at the end. Now I'm going to go back into what I did before, but I need to make a little bit of space. So I'm going to take 1 stitch. That's my spacer to rise me up to the length of a single crochet stitch. Single crochet. I'm going to stab into the top of my chain stitch. I'm going to grab, and I'm going to let that rest on the shaft of my hook. I'm going to grab a second time, and I'm going to pull through 2. See how I grab and I turn the hook so that it just neatly goes there into the tip of those 2 stitches. There we go. I'll show you again. I move on to my next stitch. I stab, grab, pull, leave on the shaft. Grab, pull through 2, stab, grab, leave on the shaft. Grab, pull through 2, stab, grab, pull, leave on the shaft. Grab, pull through 2, leave on the shaft. Stab, grab, grab again, pull through 2. Stab, grab, leave on the shaft. Grab, pull through 2. Stab, grab, grab again, pull through 2. Stab, grab, grab again, pull through 2. Stab, but what do I do with these tails? I'm going to pull the tails together. So when I grab, I'm going to grab the tails in as well. There we go. All right. So this is 1 row of chain stitch at the beginning and 1 row back of single crochet. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do a single crochet back in the other direction. But first I need to do a little spacer of a chain stitch. This is single crochet, so I do a single spacer stitch. I now look for the top of the stitch. You've got this sort of chevron thing going here. I'm going to stab underneath the whole stitch. Grab, leave on the hook, grab, pull through 2. Stab underneath the whole stitch, grab, grab again, pull through 2. Stab, grab, grab, 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 pull through 2, and we are done with our second row. Now when you're going back and forth, this is the back side of the stitch, and this is the front side of the stitch. I'll show you on the other side. See how sometimes it looks like a little set of legs going down, and other times it looks like a little V? That's just the front and back side of the stitch. Some people really like the look of this, other people really like the look of that, but on a scarf you can end up seeing both sides. That's just fine. All right, now we're ready to do what here in America we call a double crochet. We're going to turn our piece again. Because it's a double crochet, we need to make the spacer 2 high. So we're going to do 2 chain stitches, 1 and 2. Now we're going to cast over. That's where we just take our hook, and before we do our stab, we put our yarn around the hook, stab, grab, grab, pull through 2 once, pull through 2 twice. That's why here in America it's called a double crochet, because we pull through 2 once, pull through 2 twice. That's the double crochet. I'm going to show it again. You're going to cast over. Now, some people try to cast under and then they wonder why they drop it, because it goes like that. You have to cast over the top so that it gives a little bit of a twist there. Then you can stab, grab, grab, pull through 2, pull through 2, overcast, stab, grab, pull through 2, pull through 2, overcast, stab, grab, pull through 2, pull through 2, overcast, stab, grab, pull through 2, pull through 2, overcast, stab, grab, grab, pull through 2, pull through 2, over the top, stab, grab, grab 1, grab 2, over the top, grab 1 and 2, over the top, grab 1 and 2. Okay, so here we have our first row of double crochet. Single crochet, pretty stiff. Double crochet, you've got some shift back and forth with it. All right, so now we need to do our next row of double crochet. So we're going to flip it over. We're going to put a spacer of 2 chain stitches, 1 and 2, overcast, stab, grab, 1 and 2, over, stab, grab, 1 and 2, over, stab, grab, 1 and 2, over, stab, grab, 1 and 2. Now, something I'll see students do is they'll do this and they'll stab, and then they'll grab, and then they'll miss a thread. And they'll be like, oh, I don't have all the things. Well, just pick it up on the next one. This is a chunky scarf. So if you end up missing something, it's just added texture to the scarf. This is not something that people are going to extremely criticize unless you're putting it into a competition, because most people, they'll compliment, ooh, I love the colors of your scarf, and you can say, oh, I made it myself, and they will go, oh, amazing! amazing, you can make stuff. And they will be completely impressed. All right, here's the back side of a double crochet and the front side of a double crochet. And you can see that it is getting more and more flexible the taller the stitch is. Now, the tallest stitch I have ever done is a quadruple crochet. We're only gonna get to a triple crochet because after that, it doesn't really hold together very well and these loops get very catchy. And I find that beyond a triple crochet, earrings will grab onto your scarf. So triple crochet is as far out as we're gonna get, and I will show that to you now. For the triple crochet, I'm gonna turn our piece over. We're gonna cast on 1, 2, 3 stitches. That's as tall as the triple crochet is gonna get. We're going to overcast 1, 2. So now we've got the original loop, 1 and 2 overcasts, stab, grab, pull through 2, pull through 2, and last 2. Whoo! There we go. That's the triple crochet. We're going to show that again. Overcast, 1, 2. Now we've got the original loop, 2 overcasts. That makes 3. We stab, grab. Now we've got 4 things on there, so we're going to pull through 2 once, pull through 2 twice, pull through 2 3 times. Very tall, very flexible stitches. Overcast, 1 and 2. Stab, grab, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Over, stab, grab, 1, 2, 3. Over, stab, grab. 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 1, 2, 3. Over. Stab. Wait, is that the same spot that was before? Whoa, almost did that wrong. Okay. Stab, grab. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that's our first row of triple crochet, and you can see how flexible that is. More flexible than the double crochet and way more flexible than the single crochet. Now I'm going to flip over and I'm going to do another row of triple crochet. So 1, 2, 3 chain stitches, 2 overcasts, stab, grab through 2, grab through 2, grab through 2, over, stab, grab through 2, through 2, through 2, over, in, pull 1, pull 2, pull 3, over, in, grab 1, 2, 3, over, in, grab 1, 2, 3, over, in, grab 1, grab 2, grab 3, over, in, grab 1, grab 2, almost dropped that, 2, and 3, over, in, grab 1, grab 2, grab 3, over, hit the camera, 1, 2, 3, okay, there we go. All right, So there's single, 2 rows of that, double, 2 rows of that, triple, 2 rows of that. And you can see how at the triple, we're just rocking along. That's why I like the double and triple. Double if I'm using a really big hook like a Q hook, but triple makes a very flexible and soft scarf that makes great infinity scarves. I'm actually really digging this triple color combination. I didn't think I would, but because these 2 variegateds have the same orange and this variegated has that sort of light tealy green that this pink one just barely has in it, I'm digging it now. I might actually turn this example into an actual thing. I am doomed to have a million projects started and not completed. Here are 2 projects that I'm currently working on. These are unfinished objects, but I wanted to talk about the difference between fibers, the difference between the number of pieces of yarn you do, the hooks and the stitches, and how that changes something from being stiff to being soft. Now, this one here, it's got a lot of factors that would make you think that it would be a lot stiffer than this one. It's wider than it. It's got 4 strands of yarn going to it, and it's a double crochet stitch. This one here, it goes single, double, triple, double, single, double, triple, double, all the way along. So because of that, the triple stitch is the most flexible stitch in this one, where the double stitch is only slightly flexible, and the single stitch is, of course, the stiffest of all the stitches. But there are a few differences. One, the yarn used on this is a wool blend. I believe it's a wool and rayon blend, whereas this is all acrylic. So this one being more natural fibers and also being slightly thinner when you get down to it, makes this softer. This one here is done with an N hook, whereas the yellow one is done with a Q hook. Remember, when you're looking at the hooks, the further down in the alphabet you get, the bigger the hook, which means this one's going to make bigger stitches overall. Additionally, because this is all double crochet with no single crochet is the tightest, stiffest stitch. So this one has a very neat texture going on because I'm alternating it, but that also adding in those single crochet rows also makes this stiffer. Remember, I'm in the United States, which means my single crochet, if we were in England, that would be a double crochet. Everybody and their grandma had different terms for what they did with crochet, and so some of the phrases that I use, some of the terms that I use change depending on who's your teacher, where you are located in the globe, and who your grandma was. So just keep in mind, look at the technique, and if my words don't necessarily make sense, try to use the visuals to help you figure out what's going on. Okay, so I did end up finishing this extra long scarf that had the 3 types of yarn, the one with the green, blue, and tan, as well as this cream and this tan color. However, I totally finished it. I didn't partially finish it, I totally finished it. It ended up being super, super long. Like I said, Doctor Who style. So how I would probably wear this is loop it around the front of my neck, loop it around the back like that, and then have a big nest with these long tails going down the front. Well, I intended to stop and show you how to put on fringe, but I took it to the food bank where I volunteer at, and I had time. I finished up the scarf, and then I just went to do these lovely, lovely tassels. And so now I need to show you how that's done. A couple dozen projects later, I finally get back to showing you how to finish off a scarf. Now, this lovely variegated sample is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to show you 2 different ways. One is if you're making a cuff or if this was much, much longer, how to make an infinity scarf where you just give it a little bit of a twist and then put it together. And then after I've done that, I'll just finish it off as though it's a straight end scarf, and then I'll show you how to make tassels. So first, what you have to do is you've got to cut your lines or run out of yarn. If you've run out of them unevenly in color, just pull out your stitches to wherever your pattern ended. So this one was single crochet, double, double, triple, triple, double, double, single, single. So I ended it on that single, single so that it would match up with the pattern there. In fact, I actually, if I'm going to do an infinity scarf, I should, because I started with single, single, I should go back to when this was double, double. Okay. So here on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, at the very end stitch, I'm going to grab the line and I'm going to pull all the way through. Now that I've cut it off or run out of a color and cut the others to be the same length, I'm going to tighten that down so it's a knot. Now, if I'm doing a straight tubular coif, I'd stop there. If I want to do an infinity scarf, you give it a twist and then put it together. And I know this sample is really small. It doesn't quite do it justice for a true infinity scarf, but it gets you the idea. Now, I've got these two ends. So either by putting these into one of those large-eyed plastic sewing needles or using your hook, you're going to go through the stitches and around. Now, some people would just do that all the way along and they would do stitches there and you would end up with this sort of pattern. So I'll show you what it looks like. I started it backwards. Let's try that again. Got it here. I go through, grab, pull, next stitch, line them up, stab, grab, pull through two, next stitch, stab, grab, pull through two. And I like this when I'm doing like the bottom of a bag or something like that, or the sides of a bag, because it makes a very pretty stitch top right there. See how there's a ridge? And that's great on like the side of a bag, but I don't really like it in a scarf. It leaves this little bump and it doesn't just blend in. So instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull the line all the way through. And with three things of yarn, they never pull evenly. There we go. So I'm just going to pull all the way through. And I'm going to go to the next stitches. And I'm going to grab, pull through this side. Basically, I'm sewing. Now, if you've got a needle with a big enough eye to take all three yarns, that's great. But most people don't. Most people just have mending sewing needles, and those usually have tiny little eyes. So here's how you do it with your crochet hook. You just reach through with your crochet hook and then pull through with your hand, and then go to the stitch on the other side. Let's see, going from the top. And basically we're replicating a whip stitch only using our crochet hook. I come over the top. I just find this to be flatter and less obvious than doing a single crochet along the top. Again, if I want to have that ridge, fine, but if I don't, when I pull this nice and tight, it kind of makes that blend. Now I could have done a better job here at the beginning, making those two meet up a little bit more, but I'm just kind of showing you guys this as proof of concept, and you would continue doing this around and around and around in a sort of a spiral, and then when you get to the end, you tie it off with a little knot, and then you work in the ends or snip off the ends so you only have a little bit to work, and you hide it underneath other stitches. So I'm going to undo that now, and I'm going to show you how to do tassels. And the fact that I have these really long lines to do that is going to be helpful because tassels require you to have some yarn. Now, it's good if you're backing things up so that you have matching stitches, but if you haven't done that, that's okay. You don't have to have all of the colors in all of the tassels. In that long scarf that I showed you before, I actually ran out of the one that had the blue and the green tones in it, but because I had to back up a few stitches so that it had the same at the end as in the beginning, I had a few of them, so I just tried to intersperse them with the other. I'm just going to, because this is now going to be, if I were to finish the scarf, I want whatever my end is on one end kind of match the other end, so I'm going to just do my single crochets. One, I'm just going to do one row instead of the 2 row on the other end because I just want them to look somewhat similar. So you have to count how many stitches across you had and then figure out the gaps. So I have 10 stitches across, but that means that there's 9 gaps. So though there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches, the holes in between the stitches are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need 9 tassels for one side and 9 tassels for the other. Now, I probably should have made that a little bit longer so that I could work it in better, but I'm kind of just rushing this because it's just a sample. So I think of how long I want my tassel to be and I double it. So that's a good estimate for my first one. And then this is now my measuring thing. So if I just eyeball it and I don't like really plan things out, I now have to make 9 and 9, that's 18. Match it up there. 18 tassels. 18 tassels. There we go. But in this one, I don't have enough of that to make the 3-thing tassel, and this one's a little bit too long, so I trim it. Okay, and now I go back, and maybe I've run out of one of my yarns because it was a smaller ball. Well, I just go and I use whatever my other 2 colors are to finish out my tassels. Now I'm only going to do this on one side. So I've got one group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3, my original one, so that's 4, and I need 9. So I go back to my big balls of yarn. Now you notice this is just 2 each instead of 3 each. I will cut the extras so that I will have the amount that I need. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, if you've got one of those cool grid mats that you want to like eyeball cut these out on, or if you're really particular and you must have your fringe all exactly the same length, I feel sorry for you because you're a perfectionist and the world is not perfect. But you can try to make everything absolutely mathematically correct, or you could just make your tassels extra long, and then once you've got them attached on, trim them down to the size that's even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so those are going to be my tassels. Here's my end. Now, where I all right, my frustration level is high, not at any of my projects, but at the camera. I have filmed 3 different times. This is going to be my 4th time trying to show you how to do tassels. I had to do the whole infinity scarf over again because I tried with this one when it was shorter, and then that didn't, for some reason, upload properly online. So let's try again. I'm going to show you with this yellow one. I finally made one of my UFOs into a FO, a finished object, but I just wanted to show you how I do that. And how I do that, I'll just kind of bring the camera in here. I'm going to pick off one of these for now. So what you do is you take the line that's going to be your tassel, find the bite, which is the center fold of that. Then you grab it with your hook and then pull the lines all the way through. Now this is a lark's head knot. This is the front of the knot. This is the back of the knot. The front of the knot kind of looks like a bird's eyes and a little beak. The back of the knot just looks like that. And because I did this one backwards from the rest, I'm going to do it again. But really all it is you're pushing the loop through and then pulling the tails through. But I need to do this from the other direction, this way. And you can also do this with your fingers instead of a hook if your crochet is loose enough to do that. But usually your first crochets are going to be a bit tight, and so you're not going to be able to do the tassels by hand. Now, you saw how easy that was to pick out. If you want to, you can enhance your tassels by splitting them in half and then giving them a little tie in between. And that's a way to enhance your tassels. It's actually a type of macrame if you're going to just tie knots in between the two by splitting them. But I don't mind having mine a little bit looser, a little bit freer to flow. And sometimes I'll end up with one that ends up pulled out way longer than the rest. I'll just snip it off because I am not fussy about the details. So finally, after take 4, we've got tassels down. And that's how you can finish your scarves.